Hello, my love. Welcome back to Strip to the Soul, where we're talking all things inner work, self-love, and everything it means to be a woman in today's world. But this time we're going a level even deeper than self-love. We're going to talk about something transformative, and it's not just about self-love and self-respect, but it's also demanding respect in a way and owning your power without even needing to say anything. And we are talking about the power of saying no and breaking free from the habit of being a yes girl, where your boundaries are honored, you're respected, and you just feel great about being you. So my name is Jade, if you don't know me already, and thank you so much for being here. So I spoke about heartbreak in an episode recently, and in this episode I talked about how I became a little bit or a lot of a yes girl. Unfortunately, I did this in the relationship because I wanted to keep the peace. I wanted to keep this person in my life to avoid conflict, and I recognize that many of us have done this at times as well, because you don't want to come across as selfish, or you want to be easy or like low key. And yeah, most likely we've all been there, and we agree to things where we are draining our own energy and saying yes to things that don't actually align with our highest self or our goals. And in a way, you are betraying your own needs in this relationship or in these situations. It could be at work, it could be at home, because when you're saying yes to something that's not true for you, you're actually saying no to yourself. So if this hits close to home, don't worry, because you are not alone. Like I said, I was in this and I came out the other side, and I've learned all the good learnings to come from that. So today we're going to dive into why saying no is the biggest act of self-love, and how it can shift the way that you are also perceived and treated by others. So grab a tea, settle in. If you're driving, stay safe, and let's explore how to reclaim your power first through boundaries. Because let's be real, society teaches women to be agreeable, to be accommodating, to be pleasant. And while all those qualities do have their place, being too agreeable will come at a cost, and that is your peace, which is for me the most valuable thing, and also your energy and your respect. And here is the thing, sis: when you're always the yes girl, people begin to assume, either consciously or unconsciously, that they can take advantage of your time and energy. And it's not necessarily malicious, but when you don't set boundaries, you are sending a message, even if it's intentional or not, that your needs are less important to everyone else's. And of course, there's times to be selfless and put your needs aside, but I'm talking about consistently here. And I've done it, like I said, in relationships, which is why I'm here to share my wisdom with you, so you can learn from me and not make my mistakes. Because being a yes girl sometimes feels like the safe option in the moment, because you don't want to cause drama or conflict. But in the long run, it will actually chip away at how others see you, and also, more importantly, how you see yourself without you actually realizing it. So saying yes to everything, it doesn't make you more likable. And I had this because I like being liked, okay? I feel like we all do. We want to be liked in ways. But it really just makes you more accessible. And accessibility without boundaries often leads to people valuing you less, not more. That in itself is wow. Like, I know I love being that friend that shows up for people and can support people and can be selfless, but I also want to be known as the person who doesn't take shit from people and also respects myself, because those things are also just as important as being someone who's giving and caring. So respect isn't about how much you give or what you can do for someone. It is really about how your energy lets people know how you should be treated. And the first step to receiving respect is being comfortable with saying no at times. And I, have practiced this a lot with my mom and family, and also friends, and, in relationships too, where Part of you might want to say yes. It could be the people pleaser in you, the part of you that wants this person to like you, but also you need to say no. I've said no to guys, for example, when they maybe wanted like the easy route or just come over, and I had to say no and respect myself and have boundaries and say, actually, no, that doesn't work for me. And if you want to take me out or see me, that's going to mean you take me for dinner. Whatever it is, having the boundary there shows this person that I respect myself. And if this person doesn't respect that, well, that's not the kind of person I would want in my life anyway. So yeah, it's how you also value yourself and the standards you set for yourself. And it is hard to say no. For many of us, it does come down to fear, like the fear of being disliked, the fear of disappointing someone, fear of conflict. And I know, like, say, for example, my mom wanted me to go back to Ireland this year for Christmas, and I had to say no because it wasn't what I actually wanted. And I don't want to let her down, but I also want to honor myself and what feels true for me. And we are taught to believe that saying no is selfish or unkind, and that almost saying yes makes us more valuable, which is not true. Because let me ask you this, how many times have you said yes and then immediately regretted it? I know if I said yes to, like, say, for example, going over to a guy's house when I want to go for dinner, I'm not going to feel good about myself. Or if I went back to Ireland when I really didn't want to, I would feel like I'm overcommitting or maybe a bit resentful, or invisible because you were too busy meeting everyone else's expectations versus actually having a conversation with yourself and getting clear on what it is that you truly want. And so I want you to listen to me when I say this. Like, saying no is not selfish. It is self-preservation in the long run. And yes, people might push back when you start setting boundaries, especially if they're used to you always saying yes. You might hear things like, you've changed, but actually we're meant to. That's called growing. And if it's coming from a place of love for yourself, this person should also love that for you as well. Who wants to stay the same in life if you think about it? We are meant to grow and we're meant to learn from our mistakes. So say you have overcommitted in the past or said yes to things that you don't want to, it's up to you to not make that same mistake in the future. And discomfort is always temporary. So what you gain through feeling a little bit of discomfort from saying no is respect. It is your own energy and it is you being more authentic to you. And for me, that is always worth it. It's also important to remember that you can say no and set a boundary without it being harsh or confrontational. Now, if the other person starts getting that way, you can say, hey, I don't feel like going into this right now. Let's talk about it when we're both in a better space. Because honestly, it's about being honest with yourself and with others. You're not just saying no for the sake of it. You're honoring your own needs and you're modeling how you want others to treat you. And trust me, people will take notice when you respect yourself. So how do you say no without guilt or drama? So in a way for you to say no that feels good and commands respect, I want to break it down in some practical tips. So first, you need to be confident and clear when you do say no. Like, say it with confidence. You don't owe anyone a long-winded explanation or an apology. A simple, I can't commit to that right now, is enough. And the clearer and more direct you are, the less room there is for misunderstanding. So many of us feel the need to justify our no with a list of reasons, and almost as if we are asking permission, and you don't need to do that. Your no is a valid full stop. So over-explaining will weaken your stance and open the door for pushback from someone else. So you need to stop over-explaining. Also, remember your why. Every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you are saying yes to something more important, whether that's your peace or your time or your goals. So keep that in mind if the guilt starts creeping in, which sometimes it does. Like, I know when I say no, I'm like, oh God, like I should just do it. I want to be a better person. But also I need to be a better person for myself, because both are equally as important. And think of your no as a way to filter out what doesn't align with your values, because the right people will respect your boundaries. And I spoke about this in female friendships in the last episode. So if someone doesn't, that says more about them than it does about you, and you can hold the space to help them navigate that and heal that, but it's not up to you, okay? So if saying no feels intense at first, you can practice neutral responses like, hey, let me think about it, or I'll get back to you by this day. So it's clear, and this buys you time to evaluate what it is that you really want, and also the request, without the pressure of giving an immediate answer. Unless it's an emergency, you realistically, in the grand scheme of life, do not have to give an immediate answer to anyone. Just important to remember that, especially if you respect yourself and you are in tune with yourself. So I want you to start to embody the woman who respects herself and not be that yes girl. So something powerful to remember is that when you do stop being the yes girl, you don't just gain respect from others, you're actually giving that to yourself. And this is where the true empowerment begins as a woman. And people will start to see you differently when you do start to stand up for yourself and you set boundaries. You'll be someone who values her time and knows her worth, especially if you were dating. If you were like me and some of my girlfriends who are actively dating, having boundaries is so important to set the standard of what you're looking for and who you are. And it's the same in the office. Like, being able to be clear on who you are and stand up for yourself stops people taking advantage of you, because unfortunately not everyone has a good heart, if they're navigating the world from a certain kind of way, and that's sad, unfortunately, but people will take advantage of you. So once you stand up for yourself, you'll start to notice a shift on how others treat you. And the people who respect you will adjust to your boundaries, or, communicate with you in a healthy way. And the ones who don't, well, they weren't really respecting you to begin with. And I'm sorry to say that. The beauty of saying no is it does create more space when these people fall away, or that you have that space for yourself to do what truly matters for you. And if something feels true to your heart, then you need to follow that. Like, listen to your intuition, because this space allows you to be the version of yourself who feels empowered and centered and in control of her life, and is able to do and go after what she wants to go after. And you're not going to be running on empty to please everyone, because you're filling your own cup first. And then when you fill your own cup, then you're in a place and space to be able to help people out and maybe take time out of your schedule. But say you're like me and you're trying to build your life and grow your business and, create something for yourself. If I sacrifice my time too much for someone else, I'm never going to be the woman that I want to be. And I'm not in that place right now. And when I get to a better place, then maybe I'll have time where I can step back and, pour into others a little bit more, or, take some time off and, for example, go see my family. And there's a time and a place for everything. But I say always listen to your intuition, because that's your internal compass that is guiding you. And that's your highest self almost speaking wisdom into you to help you navigate when your ego might be able to get in the way, or you feel uncomfortable, or you've got these past sort of experiences shaping your future. So yes, fill your own cup first. And when you do, you will not only become respected, but unstoppable, because no one wants to be known as the yes girl ever. And it's important, especially in relationships, that your man respects you just as much as you respect him. So as I wrap up this episode, I want to leave this with you, this thought. Every time you say no to something that drains you, you are saying yes to yourself. And that is the most powerful commitment you can make, is saying yes to your highest self and the version of you that you are destined to be. Your boundaries are a reflection of your self-worth. And if you struggle with this, I have a whole masterclass, a 3-part masterclass on setting boundaries and recognizing your inherent worth within. And when you start to apply these teachings and these principles that I go through, you will be unapologetically you. You're going to feel more at peace. You'll notice that others start respecting you more too. Like, especially with dating, it's like guys take you more seriously. You're going to be that friend that women will turn to. And I think this is such a beautiful thing. I love being the friend that I know women come to when they need advice, because they know I respect myself. They know I'm going to give valuable advice and communicate something worth hearing, because I am an embodiment of that. And how incredible that you could be that person for your best friend, for your child, for a stranger, whatever it is, that you've cultivated that within you, and then you can help others do the same just by being an example. So I'm going to leave you with this. What is one thing you can say no to this week from a place of love that will honor your energy and your time? Start small, but just start, because the life you deserve begins with the boundaries that you set. So I hope this helps you in some way. It's all about just shifting your focus and shifting the way you see yourself. And when you shift the way you see yourself, it will shift how others see you as well. And it will also help you filter out those people that you don't want in your life. Because when I was people pleasing, especially in the past, it came from the wound and the fear of wanting to be liked and wanting to be loved, and the fear of abandonment. And I didn't want to lose these people. So the way I thought that I could keep them in my life was by being easy, by being convenient, going with the flow, being able to just, do whatever they wanted to do. And it was never really what I wanted. Especially I was dating someone, it was always on their terms, rather than actually speaking up for myself and saying, no, today doesn't work, tomorrow is actually better. I would just say yes because I wanted to see them, and then I put my own needs aside. Or actually speaking up with, no, that dinner's too late for me, I would actually prefer to do earlier. All these things are small, subtle ways that you are saying no to yourself. So start taking a bit of an audit on when you're saying yes to something when really it's not what you want. And don't be afraid to try and communicate another solution. It doesn't have to be a full hard no, but you can start to practice communication and how you can find something that works for the both of you, or a different way of doing something potentially, or going somewhere else, whatever it is. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you liked this episode, please give it a like, review, subscribe to the podcast, share it with a friend, because it actually really helps me reach more women like you. And that's so special to me, just being able to help inspire women, and even just for myself to see my own journey and see what I've learned. It's really incredible. So remember, your power starts with you and being able to say no and being able to choose yourself. So keep on choosing yourself. Until next time, love you so much. Mwah.